Yo, 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 you tuning into The Notion. I'm here with my co-host in the building.
It's the kid, Young Poe. I'm trying to figure out what's the best.
I don't know.
I've been figuring it out for like 2 years.
I can't figure out your wrestling intro, man.
I just keep switching it up.
It's the kid Poe.
The kid Poe, Farmer Poe,
Farmer Poe, Chef Poe,
Young Poe,
and then
Harold.
Yeah. You hit people with just the Harold one time. You got a couple of them, man.
I'm here, man. Live in the flesh. It's me. It is.
I feel it, man.
It is I.
So, what's been going on with you in the garden, man? Any updates? What you got? Any improvements?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like,
I know there was hijacking the fruit last time.
And niggas robbed me of my shit. This is how bad it be. I've had 2 dreams that I can remember of, and I woke up like, yo, what the fuck? And I went to the backyard to go check. I had dreams that, one dream, I was in the backyard, somebody walked in and said, hey man, what the fuck? And I went and looked, and all my fucking fruit trees was gone, bro. I had like a meltdown. I thought it was a real dream. And then another time, I went back.
Like somebody just took the whole tree?
Like they took my pots and the trees. Like that was a scary dream to me.
Bruh.
It was scary. But yeah, the trees that I've been showing on Instagram with all the peaches and shit, like I ain't ate none, bro. They all gone. They're all gone.
So nature handled that for you.
My nigga. I go into the backyard, I had some cantaloupes that are growing, and I look, and it's like a big fucking, like a nigga dug their hand into the cantaloupe. I'm like, why is this cantaloupe orange? And it was like, it's off the vine, so there's something back there eating them. So I had to like tie some like fucking fruit bag things, or you know the things that the oranges come in? I had to tie that around that shit, around the remaining cantaloupe, and
did that help protect them?
For now, right now, yeah. So I should have did that early on, but I was just like,
so is that good advice for people that are gardening at home to cover all their fruits and vegetables, or specific ones?
The fruit, like tomatoes and obviously the cantaloupe, which is crazy. The cantaloupe wasn't even right. Like that motherfucker just bit into the cantaloupe. Like,
okay.
But like tomatoes, they be trying to fuck with my tomatoes, so I try to pick those right before they turn red.
Yeah.
Try to pick them off, because once they turn red, they look and get them. Same with my blueberries, they did that. Strawberries, not as much, but they still like birds will fuck up the blueberries and strawberries. So yeah,
so you really got to have defense doing this thing.
It's a whole learning experience. Like for me, it's cool because I still got hella shit in the garden.
Yeah.
But like it's a learning experience, because now I know, okay, moving forward, I just can't play around with this shit. Like I gotta actually cover these things, or like be on top of it as far as with the pests, because this is my first year dealing with pests. Mm-hmm. So last year it was, as far as animal pests, last year I dealt with like bugs and shit, like aphids and shit like that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then just actually learning to grow shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year it was like, oh, I got a lot of shit that I'm growing, but now I gotta like keep the fucking animals away, because I'm right next door to a park. It's a lot of squirrels and shit. I might have to give me a cat or something, fuck up those fucking squirrels or whatever is back there. Because they're coming at nighttime, I think.
Okay.
The niggas coming in, sneaking in at
pulling
night.
up.
I be hearing shit like rustling. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I look in the back, I can't see. It's dark, but I know something is back there eating my shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's been, during the summer it's hard, man. It's just hot as fuck. So I have to get out there earlier in the morning, and sometimes I don't get up as early as I'm supposed to.
Right.
So then it's like morning chores, like being like farmers, you know how they gotta do the morning chores and shit.
Yeah.
That's real talk. Like you gotta get up. I have to get up early enough to water the shit. And right now my water hose busted, so I'm filling up a bucket, because I didn't want to go get the water hose yet. I'm just being lazy. I've been trying to, like, I haven't made a trip to the gardening store, because I know when I go there, I'm not going to just get a hose.
Oh, you finna wild out?
I haven't been in a Home Depot or gardening store in like a month and a half, 2 months.
But you probably need that, because you might see some stuff where it's like, ooh, this could protect this, and this will make life easier for that.
Yeah, they got a bunch of mesh bags and shit that I can definitely get from there. It's just time consuming. It's hot, and then all the shit that I'm doing during the day, I have to do it early in the morning or in the evening.
Yeah, so you actually got to make time just for a trip like that, because you know what you're gonna put into it.
And doing the gardening, like, it's taking me a while to water it, because, like I said, I'm filling up this fucking big ass tub bucket and watering the shit. Till I go get my hose.
So what is the ultimate goal, man, when you finally feel like, I feel like, you know, what gardening and things like that, I don't think it's just ever like, all right, I'm done gardening. But like, what is your ultimate goal with what you're doing?
Really to just be self-sufficient. Like, I want to be able to grow things that I eat.
Okay.
I'll know where it's coming from, what's going into it.
Right.
It's just a dope experience for me, just being able to, it's almost like, this is going to sound crazy. It's like when women, they're able to create life, right? It's the connection to the child is going to be a little different than the father's.
Yeah.
There's going to be a connection with the father, but it's like she knows like the whole process almost.
Yeah.
It's like she can feel the difference between the different times of the baby's lifetime growing. So she can feel it, she can see it, she can not necessarily see it, but she can, the experience is
She's
totally
like
different.
one with what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So the nurturing of that child is going to be much more of a connection for her. So it's almost like that. It's like it's cool to be able, as a man, you take this little tiny ass seed, you're putting it into soil, you're taking care of it, watching it grow, and then the cool thing of seeing it birth and then like fruiting and then taking care of it and then not just like getting rid of it. So you don't just like, once it stops bearing fruit that season, it's not like you just get rid of the plant. It's like you need to take care of it and nurture it for the next season.
Yeah.
Because when the next season comes around, it's going to be that much more prosperous.
Yeah.
So it's dope in that way to just like be able to, I grew this from this seed, and just watching it grow, and whether it bears a lot of fruit or not, or whether it,
seeing the work, being a creator, seeing the work,
right,
seeing like, the process, trial and error. You know,
I don't even have to like eat anything out of there necessarily all the time. It's just cool to be able to see all the grain and different flowers and stuff. And it's peaceful.
Do you have to pull roots a lot and stuff like that, or
like weeds and stuff?
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Weeds.
Not really. Not really. So the way that mine is set up is like, I do have to pull weeds sometimes, but it's not really, weeds don't really take over my yard that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Not bad.
Solid. Yeah. So you just want to create, be able to be self-sufficient. I respect that.
Yeah.
Do you think everything that happened with COVID put you in that position to where it was like, you know what, I want to try to grow my own stuff? Because I thought about that. Like, have people tried to be more self-sufficient because of what happened with COVID, with people going crazy over toilet paper and buying up all the meat and all the food and everything like that? And then it's like, damn, like, what am I going to do with my family? And, people, some people couldn't buy diapers for their children because people were stocking up on that stuff. Do you think that had something to do with the inspiration behind, like, you know what, I'm going to start growing my own stuff? So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Personally, for me, I wanted to start a garden in my yard prior to COVID, but that week of like March 15th or whatever, we just happened to be at Home Depot. It was like, we saw them had a demo of the gardening bed that they made. So they made their own raised garden bed in the front, kind of the garden area demo, and then they showed how much it would cost or whatever, the price for the material. So we just like, fuck it, might as start now. And then along the way, I was doing a lot of YouTube researching. So I'm following a lot of people who have their own urban farms, or they have their own, what's the other term? I can't think of the other term right now, but that they're using. But there's a lot of people who have their own like kind of mini farm on their own little kind of home. Like you can have a mini farm right in your front yard, right? There's a lot of people doing that. And then there's people who are like moving out of the towns and going to different, like buying land. And a lot of the people that I was following on YouTube, a lot of them were mentioning that the inspiration for them was COVID as well, because it allowed them to be able to go to, it's almost like everybody was freed from the constraints of like society, like the things that we have to focus on in society sometimes, like work, people being able to work from home. That was a huge impact, I know, for a lot of people, because it was for me. And most of our time throughout the day, our vital hours are like spent doing shit for other people,
Yeah.
taking kids to school, going to work, coming home, cooking, doing like most of my day.
Yeah,
I didn't
paying
have
bills and
all that shit.
you know,
You don't have time to focus on the things that you would want to focus on, and so
and things that would be better for you
Right.
if you just had the time.
right, because some people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And it put the fire under them, and then some people were working from home like me, and it just allowed you to be able to like, damn, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of figure, like, you always are like, man, I'm gonna find the time to do it. I'm gonna find the time to do it, and then you never find the time.
Yeah. You put it away. You just keep pushing it off.
Right. And then once COVID hit, like, bro, I know it was crazy because there were so many people in the gardening stores, and this is my first time really being in there. But I can tell that, like, overhearing people asking about certain items and things like, oh, you're new as well. You're new here too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would for sure. COVID was a huge catalyst.
Have you started trying to grow like corn or sweet corn yet? Okay.
Oh yeah, corn. That was one of the first ones I tried. Corn grows easy.
It's really easy.
But when I did it, I didn't try it a second time. But corn is really easy because it grows fast. It's like one of the fastest growing crops.
Okay.
But just the way that I was growing it didn't really reach its full potential. I got like miniature little corn from like the blue corn that I grew, which was dope. Because I just use them as like little ornaments and shit.
Okay.
But when growing corn, you don't want to. I grew some from seed, and I grew some from starter plants that you go to the store and buy the starter plants. It's always better to grow corn from the seed because the stalk is so small on the starter plants. When you start them from the seed, it grows thicker, and that's going to give you a better plant.
So is sweet corn a really is that real natural or is that man made?
Excuse me. From my research, I believe that it's been, I guess you could say, manipulated. All the other corns that people grow, like the old world corns, where they're hard. So when they grow and they fruit, you're not going to be able to eat it, like bite into it. Those are used for like corn flour. So if you imagine a lot of the natives or Indians, or people from South America, Mexico, they use the mortar and pestles, grind them up into the mills, and then they make tortillas out of it. And, things like that. So old corn, it was not like you're eating it on the cob.
Okay.
And so I think they somehow manipulated or did whatever they did to be able to have the corn that you eat on the cob, the edible, sweet yellow corn. But the real corn is not going to be yellow. It's like colorful, like red, blue.
Yeah. I have. Yeah. I picked up on a show on Netflix. I like a lot of the food shows on Netflix, and there was a couple of shows, and it's been so many I forget the titles, but there's one where they have this African American brother, and he's like traveling around the world. I gotta remember the name of the show, but what I thought was dope about it is certain people that stood out to me. I straight up looked for him on Instagram, and followed him on Instagram. He went to Africa, and, they tied that into slavery and things like that, and like they were showing him over there like real yams, you know what I'm saying, like all of that stuff. And then he came back to like, I think like Atlanta or Alabama, in that region. And then he was, met up with a brother, and he was showing him like how to make like this. It was almost, it kind of reminded me of gumbo, but it wasn't. It was kind of like this savory soup thing, but he made it outside. So he had like the whole kind of cast iron thing going and stuff like that. And it was crazy. And it was real interesting seeing like the different appreciations that people have for food. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then even just like in house, like we always talk about, like here in America, we always talk about like the South having the best, soul food and stuff like that. But when dude went to Africa,
they have some.
I was like, nah, that's where the real soul food is at.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, I mean, most of the stuff that's in, I mean, even if you think about something like gumbo, like rice, okra, different types of vegetables, those things were brought over by the slaves. So like okra is African. Even like rice.
Yeah.
All those different things that we kind of think of as being like Southern were brought over by the slaves. There's actually, I forget the name of the show that I think I mentioned it to you on Netflix, where they kind of do a little short bio kind of on certain chefs, and they're like these specialty chefs who have like a great kind of backstory, who might not have started out as wanting to be a chef, and then they.
I feel like I probably started dialing into that show. It's so many shows, bro, where you might get the title mixed up with a totally different show that you just currently watching.
It's been a while since I've actually seen it, so
This is the most school I've ever paid attention to. Is my adulthood.
No, hey, because like, now it's stuff that you are interested in, that you want.
I appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it so much as a kid, and I it's one of those things where I kind of feel for kids at times, because I feel like sometimes education and certain history and knowledge is forced on them. Yeah. And it's important for them to know, but it's like sometimes I wonder, well, are they ready for certain types of education yet? Because as I got older, I was a class clown, man. Right. I played around. I mean, we was, when we went to junior high, it was wild.
It was a game.
But then when we get older and we start seeing, and maybe it has something to do with the right person telling us the importance too. Mm-hmm. But when we start seeing the importance of things, it's like, bro, I hated reading. You know what I'm saying? And I love books, depending on what it is. Mm-hmm. Last night I sat up and I watched, and I think the documentary's been out for a while, on the name of the documentary is The Men Who Built America.
Yo, that was hella good.
Yeah, all right, yeah, we had to.
That sounds familiar. It could either because I've heard it before, or because I've heard Kevin Samuel say men this world. Okay, so where I'm at now, see, we shifting gears a little bit. Where I'm at now is the story is about multiple men. Okay. It's about Andrew Carnegie, mm-hmm. Cornelius Vanderbilt. Okay. Yep.
Andrew Carnegie, Cornelius Vanderbilt, J.D. Rockefeller, and J.P. Morgan.
Oh yeah, these are the niggas.
Henry Ford.
These are the niggas they made Monopoly about.
You feel me?
They made Monopoly about
and how a lot of them cross paths. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, and J.D. Rockefeller, were all Rockefeller. Were all. I'm thinking of The Rock. Hoping them. They all were like bumping heads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to, and it didn't even become about the money. It became about power at certain points. And then when they were doing at this time period, they were grossing around $7 million. And I'm like, damn, that's it. But in that time period, it was really like a few billion. Right. And so, one of the things, the petty shit that they were doing to each other was what made me laugh. So without giving too much of it away for the listeners that want to look into this docuseries, what Andrew Carnegie and J.D. Rockefeller was doing to each other for like a decade was sending each other Christmas gifts, taking jabs at each other. So one Christmas Rockefeller sent a paper bag vest for Christmas to Andrew Carnegie because he kind of grew up poor.
Oh, wow.
And so then another Christmas, Andrew Carnegie sent him a bottle of wine because J.D. Rockefeller was considered a wholesome religious person who didn't drink alcohol and stuff like that. But I was sitting back cracking up and I was like, man, I like how these rich men kind of beef. Right. It's just a different level. It's like wallet beef, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, but Carnegie was a fucking piece of work. Isn't it?
He was the steel guy. You know what I'm saying?
He was the one who had in Pittsburgh. He had he had the Pinkerton Army come in and take out the fucking his workers who were starting a union because he was.
It was his chairman that did that.
Oh, okay. The other
his chairman was I think it was John Fick, I think, or
yeah,
not John.
Fick.
It was Fick. It was Henry Fick. Henry Fick. He was the one that was stripping.
And they shot up the
workers. They killed 9 people. You know what I'm saying?
Massacre and shit.
And then that's when Andrew Carnegie had to come back. And
yep.
But Andrew Carnegie was dude's apprentice that ran the railroads in Pittsburgh. I forget what his name was. Okay. And he was the main one that was rivals with. Yeah, he was the main one that was rivaling with Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, I liked his story.
Okay, I know Vanderbilt's name. What is his? Well, yeah,
he owned 40% of the railroads when they first started building the railroads. He owned the majority shares.
That's how Carnegie started trying to have his little monopoly because he was
under the other guy. Right. I can't remember.
If you own the steel that's built for the railroads, and if you own the railroad company and the ability to make the trains and shit, he had the monopoly.
Yeah, but then people got to watch it because I don't want to ruin it.
What's it called again?
The Men Who Built America.
The Men Who Built America. The White Men Who Built America.
Mm-hmm. No, that's all facts. But see, I like studying. Listen, black folks, and my white people too, if you're listening too. Y'all already know the story. But for the black folks listening, what you guys got to understand and why you got to learn history like this is you got to understand how people got to where they got. Their hustle, their mentality, their drive. That's the stuff I'm taking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's a different type of excitement watching this documentary versus when I watch my own people's documentary. This excitement is like, wow, look at them go, man. They beefing, man. They wilding out. When I watch our documentaries with our people, it's like, you motherfucking right. Hell yeah.
No. I get exactly. You more of like, yeah, right, brother.
Yeah.
Like, instead of taking a look at the steps that got them there, you're more prideful that that person is there.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the other documentaries, it's like, because you don't have that connection to them and like a family like connection.
I'm studying your movements.
You're able to kind of like, your vantage point of viewing is not narrowed to that. Like,
I'm looking at it from a Bruce Lee standpoint. Bruce Lee, when he fought an opponent, after a while, he knew your moves. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now I know how to fight you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's why when he created Jeet Kune Do, it was everything in one. It wasn't just one fighting style because you never know who you gonna fight. So when I watch documentaries like that, mm-hmm. I'm looking at the fighting style.
Right.
I'm looking because not too much change. I read a book and it was called the name of the book is The Psychology of Money. And he said, and the author of that book said, history doesn't repeat itself. Man does. And ever since I heard that, that's what I go off of. I actually try to correct people sometimes. It's a bad habit of mine because it's the truth. They say history. Nah, man does. If history repeated itself, the dinosaurs would still be here.
Right.
So we do. Slaves. We repeat ourselves over and over again and figure out how people, I don't know how they done found me hiding up here. You know what I'm saying?
The last nigga did it.
Yeah. That's how we found out, man. So, just, seeing this type of information, though, it does get me excited. And I never would have thought that as a youngster.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I can understand that in terms of how I was viewing like different things on YouTube when it came to like gardening. Mm-hmm. So like, naturally, we kind of sometimes legitimize other people before we legitimize ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I got into the habit of like watching other, mostly white YouTube gardening channels. And then I like consciously was like, let me go look for the black ones. And, some of them I could tell that they were just starting that year. I didn't want anybody who was just starting like me. I wanted somebody who was kind of a little bit new, a little bit more knowledgeable so I could learn more from them. Mm-hmm. And I just started finding like a bunch of different black gardening channels that are super popular, and they're not popular because they're a black person. They're popular because of their knowledge of of gardening. They may have a specific specialty that they're great at. There's a guy that's super popular that I started following. He's like a fruit tree guy. Dude look like my pops kind of too. And kind of find out, dude is from Sacramento. I was like,
oh, that's
shit.
Dope. Yeah, that's
but there's
dope.
a bunch of different like
You got it. If you got his name, we got to
farmers.
shout him out.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it. I'll look it up on my YouTube before we head out.
For sure.
You know, I mean, shout him out. But yeah, it's. I had to get out of that mind frame too, because we do that to ourselves at times where we're like,
it's programming, bro. We don't. It's not intentional.
Right.
It's programming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I consciously made an effort to go and find other cultural. There's some Middle Eastern Indian people that I was.
That's what I feel like a lot of other cultures don't understand. That's what I feel like the disconnect and the misunderstanding is with other cultures and black people when we say we want black things, and the reason why we celebrate black so much is that everyone else has gotten to see a representation of them that's positive. Mm-hmm. And the only representation that we have been able to see for a very, very long time has been athletes. Mm-hmm. Maybe a few or just some form of entertainment.
Right.
And the times where we didn't have that, when we had activists, people that were scholars, mm-hmm. people that were very courageous, smart, family oriented, their reputation was attacked. Mm-hmm. Their reputation was tarnished by a whole bunch of behind those attacks, and they were murdered. Mm-hmm. So then what rises from the ashes? All right, well, we're going to do something because we're innovative. Right. We're going to be entertainers. That's not all we are.
Right.
But this is something that we can do that might change some of our situations, not all of ours. Right. And so when we say we want to represent something black, or we want somebody black to do this instead of just any old somebody because we can relate. And I just felt like that was an important thing to bring up and to say, because that'll forever be a problem with other people. But what they got to understand is with us, we haven't gotten a proper representation. We turn on any news channel and or anything, it's always going to be more negative than positive. I mean, even on social media, some of the most popular pages that report on things that are going on with black folks, mm-hmm. I'm not going to promote their names. It's more negativity.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, two things to that. On one part, Al, for those of you who don't know, my cousin Al.
We gonna get you in here one of these days, Al. Just relax, man.
Right. Just chill out, dog. It's all good. It's all good. Like, I got your number. Don't worry. I'll call you. He's planning for his birthday. He sent me a clip of it.
I didn't get that yet.
It's I forget the title of what they call this event. It's like a flash mob almost.
Okay.
It's like 100 to 500 or something like that. Like, I'm just going to give you a crazy range. It's a lot of black men suited up, and they just go out as a group to some location, and they just walk in, and I think there may be like a conference or something like that, but this is like just to show us in our like Sunday best. Mm-hmm. And they just all go like it. Obviously, they're gonna get stares. They're gonna get people looking like, "Whoa, what is?" You know what I mean? And they're in all different types of suits. Some kids was out there suited and stuff. And mm-hmm. he was like, "Man, I want to do that for my birthday." He was like, "I don't want to do nothing like regular. I want to go out and do that." And that was dope. So that's kind of like one of those things that it's like a pushback for us, is where like we want to show ourselves like in our best light. And then the other part of that too is like I'm starting to feel funny about the first African American thing. I'm noticing that I'm feeling
first African American thing. Okay.
Yeah, that title.
Yeah, every time something happens,
it's starting to make me feel funny now in this era, because I can get it from like previous generations, because we were like,
it was never even heard of.
We were kind of like prevented from doing a lot of things. But now it's kind of like I'm starting to realize, like, bro, even back then, like when they say, "Oh, he's the first African American in the MLB," Jackie Robinson, it's like I get why Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige and them was like not really thinking he was the greatest, is because do you know how many people came before him that could have done it and been the first ones, but y'all just let this person in. So like Baby Girl, the first African American spelling bee champion, she cannot be, and I'm giving all praises to her. Congratulations, Baby Girl. We love that. I know there are other African American spelling bee contestants who potentially could have been the first or whatever. The spelling bee has been going on for a very, very long time. And of course, we might not be the ones who are always in the spelling bee, but come on. I know a lot of black kids who more than likely could have been the first as well.
Okay.
And that's just using that as an example, because it may be a.
Let me
only like three black
let me
kids.
throw some seasoning on that real quick.
Let's do it.
I feel like the issue that I have with that as well is it's almost like an acceptance thing. Like we finally allowed.
Right. That's what it is.
We're finally going to acknowledge. So you know what? Little black kid that won the spelling bee, which I was very proud of. I think I seen it on. For like the homie Marlon posted it,
And she could play ball.
and it's a given. But I feel like with that scenario, it's like, well, now we'll acknowledge that maybe you guys are smart. First billionaire. Okay, now we'll acknowledge that maybe all of you guys aren't poor. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what I'm getting. I'm trying to figure out what is making me feel indifferent about it.
And back then, when we were kids learning about these things in school, it was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. The first time I ever felt weird about it was Tiger Woods when I was in school. And I was seeing like all of the different, I forget what classroom I was in, but I was seeing all the different black people, and they had Jackie Robinson and they had Michael Jordan.
Talking about like the little history
thing, and then they had Tiger Woods, and I was just like, and it was nothing against Tiger Woods. It was just like, really? Because I even felt I felt odd when I seen Jordan. Because I'm like, Jordan ain't the first black anything. Jordan was just out here dogging all y'all out.
Good at what he did, but he definitely wasn't the first
black. So I'm like, what do you so you're just acknowledging all of our success is like, oh, look at the little engine that could. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I even, and this is one of the things where it might get, a little bit more odd for people or make people feel a certain type of way. When we give a shit. Even with the black business concept, I think it's cool to let people know that, hey, this is a black business. Like if we're talking amongst friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
But sometimes you could be blackballing a business by just black business. Like I see it in commercials now and I cringe. Yep. I seen a commercial, I forget what it was, and they were just really it was the most inclusive shit I've ever seen. And it was inclusive with every movement that's going on in this climate right now, without going into details. And then it got to the point where it was woke and everything else. Woke, spoke, and all that. Kind of a joke. And then it had this white dude with a biker jacket on, like Terminator, and he was like, and it was, and when it got to him, because everybody was saying something like, support this, and we got to do more of this, and then when it got to him, it was like, yeah, support black businesses, and I was just like, come on, dog, if that ain't the biggest reach.
Yeah, because
I just don't.
I just don't put on a biker jacket to make him look like one of the guys who don't like us, and then he says something where it's like, oh, I like that.
And the thing is
we are very good at code reading.
Yes.
We can read codes.
You know why? Because we invented it. And the thing is, is that when I see things like that, I often wonder, how often is everybody else sitting around saying, promote, support other ethnics, businesses? Like white folks sitting around saying support white businesses. First of all, I think they'd be petrified.
And that's not for like. To me, that message should only be like I'm not even to me. To your point, keeping things amongst us. We should be pushing for us to support black businesses, saying like, hey, you could be going to this business, but there are also black businesses that do the same thing that you might not be aware of.
Okay.
That's a good thing to say, hey, there are these black businesses.
Don't know if you know,
but
yeah.
But what if I don't like what they have to offer?
If you don't like what somebody has to offer, cool. But at least you took the opportunity.
Right.
And see, you know what happens? Sometimes I come across things that I might not be crazy about that you might actually appreciate. Right. And that's how it works. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like, for instance, I was going to say I'm not going to promote them because I don't want to make them look bad. But Slim and Husky's is not a bad place. I'm Slim and Husky's, the pizza place.
Yeah. I've heard of them.
They don't necessarily say it's a black pizza place. But we know it's black owned. Mm-hmm. To me, the pizza wasn't filling enough for me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like bad or nasty or nothing, but I supported them because they're a black owned pizza place. I was like, oh, that's dope. Let me go and in support.
Yeah, I want to go see what they're about. It wasn't
something that I would go back to necessarily. So that's when it was like, they're dope that they're a black pizza business, and some people might like their pizza, but I do like this pizza, and that's just because I like this pizza over all the other pizza places too.
Yeah, but see, at that point, that's just about like, what do you like better? It's not like you're not saying I don't like this business because of who runs it and because they're black. And the thing is if we want to bring more awareness that, hey, we need to really contribute to each other as far as in what we're doing, that's fine.
Right.
But blindly telling somebody to go buy something somewhere and only do it because it's black, it's kind of frustrating. Because I'll tell you what's frustrating being a person that owns black brands. I've had people shout out my brands before, strangers, not friends all the time, strangers, right? And they've said that it's a black business, but I'm like, okay, what about the brand though?
Right. All right. It's like this. I just thought of a perfect example.
Yeah.
And it's all right. To me, it's almost the same concept for me. And please do not take this as a dig or like I'm downing any group or people. For my opinion, I don't feel it's necessary for athletes, specifically football athletes, to announce their sexual preference. I get why it's giving courage to those who may be coming after them to live their life the way that they want to, rather than the constraints of society. To me, it's almost like, why do you have to say, hey, I'm telling you guys I'm this sexual preference, rather than living your life and we just so happen to see it. If you are living your life normally and you are with your partner, whomever you're with, or you may be taking a picture with this person, you may be holding hands with this person, you may be seen out in public with this person. And if you're not making it about, hey guys, I'm with this person or whatever, we're just gonna notice. We're gonna see, and then we'll know.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for you. Why is that a problem? Who is he hurting?
No one. By announcing it?
Why is it a problem?
Oh, by announcing?
Yeah.
It's almost, for me, I don't say it's a problem, but what I'm getting is almost like you want, I don't know if it's not sympathy. I don't see it as being totally courageous. I believe I think it's almost, to me, like saying
cloud chasing.
Not even cloud chasing. It's like it's being in.
Why does it bother you?
I wouldn't say it bothers me, but this is just my opinion on that topic. It's almost like someone saying in front of the police, trying to fight, like, oh, I'm just getting all rowdy in front of the police because they know if a fight happens or almost fight happens, the police are going to be right there to stop it and kind of protect it. I think that's kind of what some individuals may be doing with that, is like, I'm going to announce this because I know now that all eyes are going to be on me about this, and it'll kind of like make me more able to be comfortable, because now if I was to live my life the way that I was saying that some people may, you could be subject to certain negativity. You could be maybe treated a certain way.
Well, there was an athlete before some years back that came out.
Yeah,
and
they were treated a certain way.
They were treated a certain way, but I don't think he came out and made up a PSA though.
Yeah, not like now. I think it just kind of
linked out.
It's more of a trend now that I'm seeing that they're doing it, and I applaud it. Like, I don't have no problems with them with whatever life they're living. I'm just giving my viewpoint on. I think that may be like, hey, I'm gonna say this in public because if now that I'm going to be able to I want to be comfortable living my life. If you try and treat me negatively, it could be teammates, it could be anyone. There's already the whole world's watching.
Yeah.
So are you going to treat me differently? Are you going to fire? Are you going to cut me from the team? If you cut me from the team, they're going to think it's because of this.
Yeah.
So if I did live my life freely, and you
it's kind of a
and you didn't like it, you could cut me for any other
it's kind
reason.
Of a dope insurance move.
Now that I'm saying it, I understand like why it could possibly be for not everyone's doing it for the same reason.
Oh yeah, we already know
but
that.
I'm sure that maybe someone did, and I can get that. I just think that in my opinion, I would say it's sometimes. I would think that it's unnecessary, but as I'm speaking, I'm starting to realize there are necessities for people doing it that way. And,
I believe in the time and place concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I seen an announcement recently for an athlete that did that.
Right.
I think we might be talking about the same one.
Yep.
And the thing was, it's like, okay, you did it on social media. Is from what I think. I think he did it on social media, and for that it was kind of like but to the point
his reasoning may not have seemed genuine.
I felt like it's a tricky scenario, because a lot of times when things like that come about, there's so many different moving parts and things at play. You have the TMZs, and you have all of these different blog sites that come out and they say things, and they find you, like Sha'Carri Richardson, after things that happen with her.
We're going to get into that.
We could, but I'm just giving an example. Like, she, somebody approached her like at the airport, like, and started asking her questions about the Olympics. Is she watching the Olympics? And she was like, she handled herself okay. I felt bad because looked like she was just there by herself. And, she was like, how did y'all find me? And so going back to that whole thing with the athlete, speaking on, his sexuality, it wasn't like somebody asked. And so that's where I'm looking at it like, hey, it's a free country. It's America. You could do whatever you want. You could say whatever you want. Sometimes there's consequences for things that you say and even things that you do. But nobody asked.
Right.
And I think that's the part where it can be a conflict with these type of conversations, is because, for that individual, it could be an inspiration. I'm that you never know. Like, if somebody were to debate with me or you about, I don't see what the big deal is, that could be an inspiration for somebody. That's very true. That could be inspiring for young athletes that feel like they feel like they don't know where their place is, but what you got to understand about inspiration is a lot of true, genuine inspiration isn't really just marketed, packaged, and advertised.
That's the part. It was,
you know what I'm saying? It's just them being themselves. And it was just like, yo, I watched you in the beginning, how you carried yourself and this, that, and the other. You know, sometimes when people do things like that, it's real grandiose, you know? It's real grandiose. It's grandiosity. You know, look at me and what I'm doing. And hey, I'm this and I'm that. I'm not saying that individual's that way, but it's kind of hard to shake that jacket and not place that jacket on people when they intentionally go out to the masses and say, hey, guess what, everybody? Because that same example that I'm giving, it applies to everything else. It's just like a person that always gets on social media and posts everything that they do for their wife or husband. After a while,
it's disingenuous.
It can be disingenuous. If somebody's not happy with their life, then man, fuck them, man. Every time I turn around, they getting a husband a new car, they getting a wife a new bag, or look at my family, or whatever the case it is. It becomes about performing. Yep. It's the same, showing off,
the homeless or doing.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I really don't like. You know, passing money out to the homeless. And I remember seeing a meme about that where it was like, imagine you being on your worst luck and somebody helping you and recording it at the same time. And so I just seen another scenario like that where it was this black dude. I think he was a brother, and he was like this artist. He was straight poor, and he was like this artist, and like I think he got out of prison. And I think he was a little homeless or something like that. I don't know how you were a little homeless. I think he was homeless. But he was doing these paintings, and he did this LeBron James painting. And then the whole thing is, fuck it, I'm going to call a spade a spade. So white people got a hold of him. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yo, man, this is great. And, you know, and they did some great things for him. They set up a website for him, and you know, he's making all of this money off of his paintings. And then they did this big party and everything like that. And he shows up in this nice car, and, you know, gave him some nice clothes to wear for the party. And he was real happy, and he was crying and all this other stuff. Right. You know, from a business standpoint, I'm thinking like, well, who paid for all of this shit? Who's getting their cut, profits? And I'm immediately doing numbers, because the act was genuine, but the act wasn't just on some, free 99. That's just not how the world works, right? But the whole point is, all of this shit was recorded and posted, packaged, advertised, and delivered, right? So what we have to look at sometimes is why are we doing these things? You know what I'm saying? Why are we getting out here and saying, hey, I did this, or hey, I just want everybody to, if you're bringing true awareness, I can't argue against that. And believe it or not, even the people that are bringing true awareness, whether it's about your sexuality, whether it's about racial issues, whether it's about issues with women and the things that they go through, other countries, the poor, even the people that come out about all of those things and it's just pure facts and being genuine, even you're even gonna have a group of people combating that, arguing against that. But the point is when it's genuine, you can kind of see the scale tip more on, nah, this person's pretty legit. Yeah, you got this little 30% down here that wants to just argue and be mad. But this other 70%, they rolling with you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen that in the past. We've seen that with what did Dave Chappelle, what's his name? Juicy Smoulier. You know what I'm saying? With the whole thing like that. I forgot about this nigga. You see what I mean? That was when he said that black people were supporting him with their silence because we knew this nigga was clearly lying. Yes. You know what I mean? I felt that way when I seen the clip, and dude was like, I'm the black, the gay, or not. He didn't say I'm the black. He said I'm the gay Tupac. Yeah, that's a real clip. Oh, I remember. Yeah, the first guy. Yeah. I remember that. So, the dude from Empire. So, the thing is, and I don't even watch Empire. So, the thing is like, you know, see, fake kidnapped or something. Yeah, so all of those things that you have to really ask yourself, why are you doing it?
And that's all tying back into naming something or titling something as black owned.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like
If they see that the workers in there are black, and even though all the workers don't have to be black for it to be a black owned business, but
we know it black. Listen, we know
it's black.
We know it.
Hear some music or something. You're gonna see an owner come out the back. But it's doesn't have to be packaged as black owned with a dashiki over it, because it's black owned. Period.
Yeah,
it's black owned. Period. And I get why people are doing it. But
I think it's over. Sometimes things are over. I shouldn't say over. Some things are advertised incorrectly. There's been plenty of things where people have said, "Yo, you should check this out." And this is what I would appreciate, even for my brand, my friends, my family, other black folks that appreciate anything that I do, that we do here on The Notion. This is a great way that you could probably promote black owned. You can say, "Look, man, I know about this brand. It's dope. It has great quality. They have different variety. I like the sweaters. I like the socks. I like the bags. I like all of these different things. They even have different people to kind of, dress in certain styles to let you know how it's worn. Just things look real put together. Shipping is great. All of these things. I'm not even saying that you got to say all of that, but describe the experience or to describe what makes you so attracted to it. And then when you get done with all that, say, oh yeah, and by the way, and it's black owned.
Because the black owned shouldn't supersede the actual product or business.
Well, not only that, but sometimes that could go against you, because if the product is trash, then it's here we go, black folks, and we got to do better. How many times do we see black folks out here tripping, doing something, and then you gonna see that in the comments? You gonna see, or you gonna hear that old wise person say we got to do better, or no hope for the future, or something of that sort. Like, really talk about it. Nobody cares if Costco's black owned or not. You know why? Because Costco gives you shit in bulk. You get a good deal for it. There's all kinds of things.
Niggas don't even know who own Costco.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of brands should be. I believe there's a lot of black owned brands out there that are great. Here's another thing. On Instagram, they have an option where you can put black owned as far as a category in your business. I honestly think that's a great way to be blackballed. Mm-hmm. Because they already, the algorithms are already controlled and everything like that. So, I'm good. You know what I mean? But again,
they'll see with my photos that they'll be able to guess, like, oh, it's probably a black person that owns this.
Yeah.
After they go through the steps of the experience. Oh, I like this. Oh, I want to buy it.
Like, I mean, another example, like the Jordan 11, right? The Jordan 11 is one of the most popular shoes. It's a black man's shoe designed by Tinker Hatfield, a white man. Okay? And the black man is not getting 100% of the profit on that shoe because he's under Nike, right? So the thing is really look at why you're doing something. You know what I'm saying? We really got to look into that. We really got to pay attention to that stuff, man. It is what it is. I see a lot of stuff out there, and I just, if people could figure out why they do shit, I think they would probably think twice.
Oh yeah,
before they made certain decisions. Yeah. Not the ultimate, not the initial reason at the moment, because that's more emotions. We done already covered facts and feelings, right? Mm-hmm. But the real deep rooted why, because when you really sit back and think about the deep rooted why, then you're like, man, that's kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm good. I'm about to drive all the way over there. I'm about to jump in my car. I'm about to drive all the way and slap this person in the face. And then when you think about it, and it's like, wait, because I'm mad about this, I'm about to burn my gas and drive all the way over there.
That's what I just, when I walked in your house, I instantly told you about it. I was like, hey, look, man, I'm going to set an alarm for myself to go over here, man. That's just my ego talking to me, and I got to keep talking myself out of it.
And you said something very, very important. You said ego.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There it is. Ego, ego, pride, all of that stuff. Sometimes that's what I love about when
I don't really
when
like ego waffles, man. So
I hope I hope you're not.
nobody better let her finger on my ego.
I hope you're not eating no ego waffles, man.
You got the butter egos and.
I mean, I used to eat Eggos, but
Butterfingers and Eggos, listen, your ego, and I mean that could tie into what we're talking about too.
yeah.
It's-
I mean, a lot of those, those are all different ingredients.
Correct. Well, I like that.
They're all different ingredients, bro.
The ego gumbo.
Yeah, the ego gumbo for sure.
Just depending on what you got on your spoon.
And the difference is depending on if we're gonna go in the metaphor direction. It's all in your palate,
oh man,
right? For some people's palate, they like all of that. They like all of that seasoning in there. They like that ego gumbo. They like the grandiosity, the pride, the ego, the dysfunction. Some people's palate is different. I'm not really tripping on the pride like that. I could care less about the attention.
Right.
I care more about how everybody else is doing, because if everybody else is doing good, that helps me to feel better and do better too. Mm-hmm. It's all in your palate. And a lot of times how people move, right? You can tell exactly how their palate is.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, man.
yeah, man.
That ain't nothing but the truth.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, that's we could go forever on it, man. We really could. But I'm glad that you kind of went down that direction as far as in people really talking about the why. Something else, before we get out of here, dude, I wanted to acknowledge something. I don't know how many young people are tuning in to the Notion, and and to be honest, if you're younger, if you're a teenager, you're in your early 20s and you're tuning in, you're gonna get a lot of good information from guys that done this before you. But if your parents out there and you got young teenagers, or you have some kids that are in their early 20s or whatever the case it is, it's about 56 minutes going into 57 minutes. If you want to get to this point or remember the point of what I'm about to get at right now, there is an issue, a serious issue that is nothing new, but is very disturbing. And it's been going around on Instagram. I'm not going to say too many names and all of that stuff on, who the individual is. But the thing that I wanted to get at was I got sent a video.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Young man in his car, living that life from what I seen, after looking at his profile, living that hard life. And he was on IG Live with his friend. And apparently, from what it looked like, the conversation they were talking about, if they didn't have that blower on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And as he's on IG Live with his friend, chilling in his car with his window down, somebody came up and shot him, killed him. His friend watched it. And the most disturbing part about it was he's sitting there gasping for air, saying help. He can't use his vocal cords because he can't breathe.
Hitting the lungs.
You know what I'm saying? And then his boy's asking, "Where are you at? Where are you at?" He's trying to say where he's at. He's trying to move. He eventually, I don't know if he knocked his phone down because he was trying to call for help or he didn't want
where he was at.
You know what I'm saying?
His last words was Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the thing is he ended up passing away. When I seen the video, just how I do my detective work, I looked at the names in the IG video and I went and I looked and I went to the young man's page and I looked at his highlights and I was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And it's tough.
Full of what we would call ignorance, but I get the climate of what these kids are. That's all they kind of know, quote unquote. But it's basically a lot of just taunting.
Yeah, it's a lot of rough stuff going on out there, man. It's a lot of rough stuff going on out there. And the thing that gets to me about things like this
trying to find this comment for us.
Is the thing that gets to me about stuff like this is the fact that the kid, I believe he lost his mom in 2019.
Oh, word? Oh, so you
Yeah, I went and I really dug and just looked. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He lost his mom in 2019. His mom is like a year older than us. So that's how I know he's really, really young. You know, because when he was posting his mother, he had like her birth date and her passing date and stuff like that. So there's something that I've been talking to my boy Huss about, and we had some pretty steep debates about it. And he was talking about the music and the music and the music and the music. And, you know, it's easy for me to get offended because I do music. I'm an artist. And I couldn't help but to say, you know what, you got a point. And I don't want to blame it all on just it is the music, but it is a huge part. Music is very influential.
It's the soundtrack, man.
It's the soundtrack for everything. I've never met a person that said I hate music, but I've met people that said I hate TV, I hate movies, I hate books, I hate clubs, I hate parties, but not music, because there's a different type of music for every person. So without going into a music tangent, I seen this information. I seen this IG situation with this dude, and I watched that video a few times. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, it's fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? Because when we was around his age, you know, we were just happy to get another phone that had better megapixels. You know what I'm saying? And then you fast forward time, and now, you know, kids. Now this
watching
is
kids get killed on while they're on Instagram.
Like,
this is not.
But
like,
not only that, but whoever was tuned into the live
to go and get him,
watched
all the
people that's just watching the live. Everybody that's their friends or their families, or, you know, it could have been aunts, it could have been uncles, it could have been cousins, it could have been little cousins. Right. Like, hey, like your little, you know, your big cousin is this, that, and then that's the last image. That's very traumatizing.
Oh yeah. Everybody
that's seen that probably should get fucking therapy.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. I felt a way when I saw it. It was like, fuck. And mind you, this is like, it's not the movies, folks. That's not the first time. Like, if you see someone getting shot before, it's actually a lot more it's creepier than a movie. A movie you're gonna see, and it's like, you know,
slow motion, and
it's
yeah,
like, different. Like, you see the blood splatter shit. Like, when a bullet hits somebody, it just sinks into their skin. So it's not like a impact where it's boom, boom, boom. They're showing that on the movie. When it goes into their skin, it's like it melts into them, or it just goes into. It's a creepier look than actually watching a movie, because then you're like, it's. I can't even describe how that looks. It's not cool.
It's not cool.
Nah.
And what's even more not cool is that people out there are still making it cool.
Yeah, they're not.
They're making. Well, I'm not. Yeah. And I'm not. When I say making it cool, I'm talking about there's not enough conversation. Like, yo, fuck all of that. There's so much more you can do with your talent. I think when I was going through this kid's highlights, I think there was one highlight where somebody was recording him hitting backflips and shit.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
he's a kid, bro.
I'm like, not only is he a kid, but it's like, I've never hit a backflip ever in my life. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, there's more to your life. And I don't know how to tell every single individual that's going through whatever they're going through that there's more to your life.
Yeah, because when you wrap it, when you in it like that, and you kind of really, you're not able to see or give a fuck about there being more to life when it's like, survive. Almost.
Well, for me, what I'm saying is everybody is different. So I don't know how to tell every single body in a way where they understand.
That's true. Yeah.
But I can tell you the same message. There's more to your life than what you're doing. Even the richest people in the world, there's more to their life than what they're even doing at that moment. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So you got to really sit back and ask yourself, are you really contributing everything that your life is made of right now? Like, I'm not going to give you the whole kumbaya, man, y'all need to put the guns down and all this other stuff. And y'all heard that shit already before. But what I'm telling you is that there's more to your life than what the fuck you're doing. Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, you have people out there that don't love comic books and love superheroes and shit like that. And you have people like me that's always going to be a comic book nerd by heart. I'm always going to be that way. And one of the crazy things about superheroes, right, is a lot of the really, really dope superheroes wear masks. And where are you going with this, Dizzy? They wear masks not for themselves, but to protect the people that they care about. So ask yourself, when you're doing certain shit, are you protecting the people you care about? And I don't mean just from harm physically. I mean emotionally. Are the decisions that you are making protecting the people that you give a fuck about? If your grandma's raising you, if your parents are raising you, if your older sibling is raising you because your parents ain't here no more and they trying their best, whoever is in your corner rooting for you, are you protecting them emotionally with the decisions that you are making? When I was going to private school, there was this very wise man. I didn't realize how wise he was until I got older. I'm actually friends with him on Facebook. He was one of the older faculty members. His name was Mr. Watkins. And every time he would always talk during our meals. And we would get annoyed because I'm trying to hear this shit. But he would always talk about y'all getting in trouble and y'all doing this, partner. He had this thing where he always said, partner. You ain't paying attention, partner. That's why you at this school, partner, because y'all not listening.
Where is he from, California?
No. He was from the South.
Oh, that's great.
That's a Bay Area thing, right?
Hey, partner.
But that's also an OG thing too. A lot of OGs said that. But he said something that I'll never forget. He said, every time y'all get in trouble, you killing your mama. Every time you get in trouble, you killing your mama. I'm like, what is he talking about? Because he's talking about the stress.
Bro,
the stress.
Know that so much. I talked to my mom about that. Like, I tell, like, Ma, I know how stressed you probably were now. Mm-hmm. Every time you got a call from the school. Mm-hmm. Every time. It's almost like, oh my God. It's like, you think that you know you're going to get in trouble with your parent, but you don't know that your parent feels like they're in trouble.
Yeah. They don't know if you put them, your family don't know if you have now put them in a predicament of now they don't know what they're going to do. So the whole time you worried about yourself, you're not even thinking about the fact that they're probably worrying about, well, what am I going to do? And what am I going to do to make sure you're good? So that's all I'm just saying. That's all I'm asking, man. That's all I'm asking. I'm just asking, like, are the decisions you really making? Are you really protecting your people emotionally? You know what I'm saying? Because stress leads to heart disease, leads to tumors, leads to high blood pressure, and when you got people that are already vulnerable to that, they don't need anything extra. They don't need your help getting to the other side. Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there because, like I said, I thought that video was disturbing. That video was actually sent to me from a childhood friend when I seen it today. But the first time I seen it, Sergey showed it to me yesterday. But then I was like, damn, that's crazy. And we was already worried about some stuff. So when I seen it again today, I was actually on the couch where I had time to really view it. Mm-hmm. And I ran it back. And I was just like, I ran it back like hoping like it was fake. You know when you already know something is real, but it's like, man, I'm just like, yeah. And the thing that fucked me up the most is when I went to go look at the kid's highlights, right? And, I see he's out there, with his friends, doing whatever. And I'm just seeing like they really living it up. They really doing what they doing. But the whole time I'm looking at his highlights, I keep remembering like his last moments. And his last moments, he was a kid asking for help. And now it clicked. when now I understand, like, yo, these kids need help. And nobody is helping these kids by blaming the father's not there, the mom's not there, the parents ain't shit, you ain't shit, white man this, white man that. Like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes I got in trouble by your parents when we was coming up. That's part of the village. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the village.
To them, this is a lot of them are just doing what they think is, or what they feel is like
respected
the now. And like, it's like when we were all into fucking wrestling when we were kids, so much so that we became these characters throughout the day.
Yeah.
We're wrestling all the time.
Yeah.
Playing, and like, and
that was the thing for us
them,
when we was
kids. Characters a lot, like these people who they feel like this persona that they believe they have to portray.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, and I don't mean to go on a dark end, but I think that was really, really important, because I don't see I don't follow a lot of crazy things. I try to protect my energy with that, but I really felt the need to say something. And to the parents out there that has young teenagers, really, really, really try your best to take your time, talk to them,
and be in their business.
Be in their business like our parents was in our business, or whoever was in your life that was in your business. I'm talking be in a business like an audit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And just do the best you can. But it was very troublesome. I don't even want to share that with nobody. But I felt the need to speak on it and try to shine some light on, the importance that the youth is important. They're extremely smart. They're extremely talented. I feel like they're misguided by a lot of things that's not their fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff has to be protected. I know it sounds like, the OGs kind of come down on the youngins, and it's because, man, y'all got shit that we wish we could have, or things we thought we'd never see. Mm-hmm. And we want to see y'all do something great.
And appreciate it.
Right? So that's my thing. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna spend hella time on it, but we gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you for tuning in.
And while we signing out, man, I just want to shout out, we don't always get a chance to see who our listeners are or get feedback from our listeners, but
yeah,
this is just words that I hear from someone. They stated, y'all are legit 3 black men on the platform talking about feelings. They love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it.
I've never heard a group, but a group of black men as emotionally intelligent with holistic perception as you guys. A rare find.
Yo, I appreciate that. Shout out to you. Shout out to the listeners. And we definitely appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the contributions. Please, if there's topics, conversations that you want us to bring to the forefront, DM us. Leave comments on the YouTube. Yeah. Leave comments on the Notions comment section on IG. We have Twitter that needs to get a little bit more active, but leave them everywhere you possibly can, because we want to hear what y'all got to say, and we want to bring conversations to the forefront. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. You've been tuning in to The Notion with your host, Dizzy D. Spill, and my co-host, my brother in the building,
Farmer Poe.
And we out of here. We got to get ready to watch these finals, man.
Hey.